Welcome to the Everyday Magic Podcast. I'm Aine Rock.
And I'm Dr. Sophia Trevenna.
We've been best friends for 25 years, united by the belief that no matter what life throws at us, we can always find the magic. Join us every week as we dive into our most intimate conversations about sex, money, intuition, and building our company, Sophia, a merger of our names and the best of us. Hi, Goddess.
Hi, Goddess. So lovely to connect again. And we always have absolutely nothing planned.
Right.
And
That's not true. We've had a few things on our mind, and this episode we're like, let's see what emerges.
Right.
We definitely came with a little more of a, sometimes we sit down with no idea what we're going to do, and sometimes we sit down with like, a little strategy or a little idea of some things we want to talk about.
My experience, if you were to ask me, like, I don't know, let's say we've done 10 episodes, maybe 3 we sat down with any notion, and those 3 were like, let's maybe talk about your date, like that much. And the reason I bring it up is because I was talking to my friend Thomas, who just won an Oscar at the swimming pool. And I said, oh, we're filming tomorrow. And he said, oh, but who are you talking to? And I said, no, we just the 2 of us talk. He's like, but you have a big list of things. And I said, no. And he's like, but you're going to talk about it. I'm like, no. I mean, I think maybe we come with the notion of like, oh, we got the body oil today. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about angelic biohacking. Or we haven't talked about, money in a while. Let's talk about it. But that's how much we have.
Yeah. We come with like the seed of inspiration, and then we sit down. Because this isn't just, necessarily to be scripted. This is like emergent.
Isn't necessarily. This is entirely like I feel like it's 99%
unscripted. Yeah, emergent.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
Organic conversation.
Entirely. And people have said that to me. I just really feel like it's important to say, because people are like, you guys really go through everything you plan on going through. I'm like, we don't plan on going through anything. And like, I think we've never had a strategy. We've had a notion. We've had like a headline or like a thought.
That's the most fun. Come in with a headline and then see where it takes you.
Yes. And this one, we don't even have a headline.
Right.
So do you want to do a card? Do you want to go in and ask the angels? Is anything coming? How do you want to do this one?
I don't know.
We got nothing.
We're just here.
I feel like you should pull a card.
Okay.
And while you're doing this, I'm going to share that I've been pulling cards for at least 25 years, I'm going to say, like so many different decks. And I used to read the whole description that went along with each card, and then I would be sort of drowning in the message. I couldn't really there's so many messages in it, I couldn't find the one that I felt was most relevant sometimes. So I started to do this thing where I would close my eyes and imagine the page, and I would see a part of the page light up. And I'd open my eyes and I'd read that section I saw. And then after a few years, that started to turn to where I could look at the page and words would start to light up. Now I can just open to the page and read the exact words I'm supposed to read that are relevant.
Great.
So I will
work for other people too?
I don't know.
Okay,
I'm not other people.
No, I mean, as in when your other people are pulling.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I usually read for people, is because I can pull out the message. I mean, I think the 5 years of COVID, when I did this almost daily with women, I would always do the reading because it was always like, that's the message I needed to hear. Yeah.
Plant yourself here.
Okay.
Integration, embodiment, grounded action.
Okay. Say this again.
Integration, embodiment, grounded action.
Okay, I love this. So what we are to contemplate. This is the card of the one who's committed to being the bridge between heaven and earth. The embodied mystic. They know they don't need to denounce either heaven or earth. Rather, they are a weaver of worlds, here to embody their soul more and more with each new day, here to weave the sacred back into everyday life. Well, if that's not a definition of everyday magic, I don't know what is, Goddess. Okay, beautiful. Shall we go in and find out what we need to know about this and just like ask the angels to give us downloads?
Let's ask the angels.
Okay. What do we need to know about this card? I saw a lot.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Did you see anything?
I did.
I'm supposed to go first.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
Great.
Okay. I saw you instantly opening your heart and leaning back and being so just goddess energy, and you feeling the light and your heart opening and being connected to the light above, and your light reaching for the light above and stretching, and you stretching, reaching for each other. And then I looked closer, and you had roots that were all the way to the center of the earth. It's like you were rooted to the center of the earth and always had been, but you were reaching for the heavens. And I was beside you, and I was full of the heavens, but I was trying to, and I was reaching my roots to the center of the earth. And it's almost like you've been more earthbound, but you're really opening to the higher frequencies. And I've been really higher frequency bound, but really opening to the earth beauty.
Cool.
There's something like this. What did you see?
I saw like that moment when we were in the ocean. We were like coming out of the ocean. We were playing in our photo shoot with like, I really had this vision of like, I want to come out of the water wearing a dress. Like,
so we put in our black silk dresses, went in the water, came out of the water.
Yeah. And it's that like emerging, right? With the word emergent is very in the moment today. So I think I saw that, and I saw just same very goddess energy, very stepping into, I mean, I just got on my new branding. I haven't even, did I show it to you?
You sent it to me, and I looked through it thoroughly.
Yeah. Oh, good. I can't wait to hear what you think.
It's exciting. Yeah. Beautiful.
And really stepping into this new expression, where we are both stepping into the next chapter of our work, of our expression to the world. Sophia.
Like we're individually rebranding, we're collectively rebranding. We're putting out this podcast, which is a new thing. Neither of us have ever done like this before. Sophia is a brand new thing in expression. It's like, what are we here to say? What have we spent all these decades for? And how do we crystallize that? And yeah. I love it. What was interesting when you said that is we started this whole conversation about structure versus flow, and having a notion or a headline being the container for what flows from us, and sometimes letting the flow lead us like it is right now, and then bringing structure to it, right? And this is the pillars of the feminine and the masculine in this new paradigm of business. Right? It's like over masculinized businesses, what will be all structure with no flow, creativity, pivoting, unknowns, open space, blank space, emptiness, emergence. And over feminine systems will be all creative and all flow and all ideas and all hands on deck and all artistic, and won't get things done and hit milestones and have efficiency, etc. So it's like when you can bring the two together, where you have structure and emergence, that is when the magic happens. When the masculine and feminine come together, you literally create a baby. You create new life. Like energy from the ethers comes into form and creates a new life. So when you can really have the proper harmonization of structure and flow, intellect and intuition, the pillars that we use in our lives and in our business, that's when magic and miracles happen.
And the Sophia baby is out in the world.
The best of both of us, our dreams, our wheelhouses. Yeah.
Sophia baby.
Okay, so I would love to go in, and since we are coming into this full expression, and part of it is like the newest part for you is opening upwards, and the newest part for me is being in the more in the earth plane. I would love to go in and maybe focus on you first, and both of us find out like, what do you need to know to bring heaven to earth in your expression? Like the best of heaven and earth to your expression.
Okay. And is that just in broad strokes?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a certain point when people are like, I don't know what my purpose is. And my answer is always the same. You are your purpose. The truth of you, your authentic expression put into the world is your purpose. So at this point, you know, when we're in middle age, et cetera, like, I don't know that there's a difference between you, your dating world, your rebranding, your company, your coaching, Sophia, like, it's all the ultimate Anya signature. I'd love to know what this fullest expression of the Anya signature that goes into all those things, what can we know about that right now?
Okay.
What are you expanding into? What is the inspo that they want to share with us?
Okay.
You up for it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Always up.
You want to go first? Did you want me to?
I can. So I saw, it was like, I'm trying to think what I saw first. I can't remember what I saw first, but what I saw most vividly was like all of these women. Oh, I know. I saw the book and I saw, like you were talking about, words lighting up. I saw like words lighting up and people sort of taking that transmission and being like, oh, me too. Like I also, oh, there's like another, like a permission or a.
Everyone's promiscuous?
Yes. Yes. In the way that we were talking about, like the unmarried, which I didn't tell on the podcast, but the story of like signing off on my paperwork, and I had to sign like for my mortgage, I had to sign like an unmarried woman, and it felt like the declaration of yes, I am. And if there's any hint of that being wrong or shameful or not part of the collective because you're an unmarried woman, then I take that with pride.
Sure.
Right? Promiscuous is like in the same way. If there's like some part of that tainted with like, oh, you shouldn't be, then we're like, we'll take it and we'll add a flavor of hell yes. So anyways, I saw like the pages, the words on the page, and I just saw women and like the groups that I'll hold and the community in the collection. And then I saw this very masculine energy, like holding and like wrapping his arms around me as I'm wrapping my arms around like all these women.
Oh my goodness, I love this for you. I've seen similar. I've been like, wow, I need a man that will hold me so I can hold the world. I've had this feeling for so long.
It's like this flow of almost like women dancing, and one of the branding elements is like dance in the fire of your own awakening.
Oh, I loved that, by the way.
It's good, right?
Dance in the fire of your own awakening. Like, I loved everything about that. This was a part of your rebranding.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, yes.
And it is that sense of like dancing around the fire, right? And being in celebration and reclaiming, and the ascension, the goddess ascension ceremony, which we still need to go take.
It might be the beginning of many goddess ascension ceremonies.
Yeah. And
it might be part of your signature.
In the flow, that's when I was like, oh, and I'm also like held by this very stable, strong, masculine.
I love this.
Yeah.
I love it.
It reminds me, this guy on the field that I saw, was like, oh, maybe interesting. And he was like in his description, he said like, I won't pay your rent, but I might add to your lingerie if it's.
Yes.
And I was like,
yes.
Sign me up for that. I don't need my rent paid. I'm good. Yeah, but you can definitely.
Some lingerie, yes. Yes, every Friday, and you will be rewarded by that gift all weekend long.
Right.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. I love this.
TBD, I haven't heard back.
But the invitation was lovely. Yeah, it can go into your requirements for your promiscuousness.
Yes.
I love this. Yeah. I love it. Okay, great. I saw 3 distinct areas. And the book was the common umbrella for all of them. And when we talk about the book, it means this book you're writing, a beautiful book. And I saw you taking from all of these people that are supporting you and looking at you or branding and doing copy and having new eyes on you and helping you like really marinate in the language, the colors, the expression. And I saw you picking it and filling your website and your social and you having like this online world that you feel is you. Then I saw you standing on stages in front of audiences and people felt exactly the way that you described. Like they're like, that's me. She's talking about what I went through and she did this and I can do that too. And just like the transmission, people walk out of the room going, whoa, like I almost saw like a speaking tour. And then I saw a retreat, you hosting a retreat, and it might be called Goddess Ascension with Aine Rock. And
you heard it here first.
You heard it here first. Because Burning Man started with a man going to the desert just to burn some things. And now, like, 90,000 people go to the desert to burn some things. Maybe the Goddess Ascension is going to be like the modern Burning Man for the, conscious woman. Right. I don't know. Right? But I saw that you having like this, and I think I did a reading for you with the angels a number of years ago that saw you having retreats that went with the seasons.
That was recently. That was one of our,
Okay. Yep. I think it's come up a couple times.
Yep. I remember sitting on my couch.
Quarterly.
Yep.
Like maybe it starts with 1 and then 2, maybe it's like summer, winter, like, you know, and then it's all 4 seasons. Yeah. Quarterly. Yeah. Maybe it's for all the unmarried women
who want to be promiscuous.
Yeah.
There's already a wait list.
And it's going to be in the desert, so they need sacred ritual body oil.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's all working. It's all coming together. And, you know, it would be actually amazing if actually at the retreat they got the body oil and used it, because every time they put it on, they would remember that experience and the signature scent that helps them program in the memory of that, right? And then every time they smell the scent and put it on and are luxuriating, they can revisit that anointing.
They'll all be getting a Sophia package for sure. Right. And we dreamed up some interesting Sophia retreat ideas when we were in Mexico.
Sophia Soul Spa.
Sophia, remember when we were at Ontario?
Yes.
And we were like...
That's exactly what we want to do.
Yeah.
If I could only remember what it was.
We have it. We actually took notes, I think.
And I feel like we got it. All I remember is we got together, we landed at this retreat, we looked at each other, we created the magazine of Sophia, and then the whole retreat came through too. And I remember we were just like, done, signature, and I can't remember it.
It's somewhere.
Yep.
It's when it's necessary, I feel like these things always reemerge.
Do you love the idea, like, of us hosting and going to retreats, like, pretty much all the time?
Yes.
Yeah. What if they were only women all the time, or what do you think about co-ed retreats?
I think co-ed retreats are possible. I actually was looking at a co-ed retreat. I mean, because I'm always searching for retreats.
Are you?
Kind of. I always have my eye on like what people are doing and what's their messaging. I mean, I don't know. I'm very like out in.
I'm not. Yeah. I'm so grateful that you are.
I'm on Zillow. The other day I was looking up horses.
I am never doing any of things.
I look on retreat sites.
Do you remember like maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, I said it just occurred to me I could like scroll through social media and not just like look at 1 or 2 things.
You even said I could curate my social media to be people I want. You're like, I could actually choose who shows up in my social media. I'm like, 100% you can.
I'm just like,
you're like, who should I follow?
I'm very minimally, like I definitely put out social media and then I'll look and I'll see 1 or 2 things, or I'll go specifically go and look at some people, like I'll see you or whatever. And then I go off and do something else.
Don't worry. You're not missing anything. Don't get lost in the scroll.
I've never done it, but I was like, oh, this is what people do. They scroll and then there's, and then it keeps going. Like I literally,
it's a rabbit hole.
These are such new experiences for me. It's so hilarious. So I don't go looking for, I've never gone looking for retreats. What's always happened, it's just like anything for me. It's like it crosses my field and I can't, and I know instantly I'm supposed to. And that's what happened with Panama is like there was an invitation extended specifically from.
This was the one, in fact, we sent it to a mutual friend and it was in Ibiza with someone that I follow. And I was like, the dates don't work. And I didn't, when I was on there, I was like, no, actually, a lot of times I look and I'm like, I'm not actually going to learn anything new. I already know.
You can feel it.
Like, I do feel like if I can be in someone's energy where I'm really going to go in and learn something.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of at the point, as we both are, where...
Is it going to be worth it?
And is there going to be transformation for me? Like, am I going into mentorship or transformation? Or, I mean, obviously sometimes vacation space is one thing.
Well,
but
we still did epic transformation in the vacation space.
Right.
Epic transformation.
Epic transformation.
I don't know that I'm drawn to not transform. Transform isn't work to me. It's living.
Yeah.
So for example, the only thing that crosses my feed that I tune in all the time and I get a no every single time is Los Angeles tantric speed dating.
Well, interestingly, this was like Tantra in Ibiza.
I've been to a tantra. So did I tell
Should
you?
we go do that together?
Well, interestingly, I think I've done it. I went to a tantra festival in Ibiza, but by accident.
This wasn't a festival, though. This is a retreat for couples and singles.
Oh, very different.
Conscious couples and singles by application.
Oh.
With someone that I follow that I have a lot of respect for.
Okay, amazing. So we went to that sex party by a group that we had great respect for, great reviews from everyone.
Yep.
Conscious, no, everyone's sober, many of the things we care about. And there was 50, 70 people, quite a few people, not attracted to one of them. Right. So we could end up at a retreat like that for a week. We're having these experiences.
Eye-gazing with each other.
Yeah. We could have stayed at home.
We could have gone to Panama and laid around naked again. I also just sometimes I'm like, is that a place in the world I want to go? Like retreats are it's an adventure. It's like, okay, I can start out. I mean, my kids are in college. It's going to be a whole new world of like adventure.
What is your whole new world going to be, Goddess? Describe it to me in detail.
A lot of travel.
Really? You already do so much travel.
I know, but I could do more.
So when you're kids, I
always feel limited by the amount. I feel limited by the amount of time I have because I usually have a week.
Sure.
And even then, I really sort of know I know I'm missing the game or I know I'm missing things I could show up for. The tournament, the game, the thing at school.
So when they're off at school and university and they do not need you and they're, maybe calling you once a month or whatever, or they're just checking in every day. Actually, Wendy's kids, they have a WhatsApp thread and they all check in every day, but they're having their own lives. They don't need you.
Right.
And you can be on retreat doing that. Right.
Or leading them.
Right.
Yes.
Did my necklace fall off? What does that mean?
Oh no.
Unchained.
Promiscuous and unchained.
The collar is off. You are unleashed. I'm going to keep trying to put this on while we talk, which may or may not be successful. But I feel like I understand what you're saying. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what it's like to have kids. I didn't make that choice. But I did get the years where I didn't have a home and I just had a carry-on and I didn't have articles of anything that I owned anywhere in the world. And there is a freedom that is so worth surrendering into, that's so beautiful. There is such a world out there. There is such a flow. There's so many experiences. Like I would love to see you have that experience.
And I might always have a home base.
Well, at this age, I mean, You don't need to not have a home base by any means.
Right.
But there's something that was...
Several home bases.
I'm kind of happy that I had the experience of not having a home base and the world really, truly became home. It was beautiful.
Got it.
So multi-talented.
Love it. Gorgeous.
So I feel like what we're seeing is the pillars of your offerings. I honestly don't know if you're going to have one-on-one clients anymore. You might have graduated from that. You might be retreats, speaking. I really don't see one-on-one clients very much.
Interesting.
Yeah. Very interesting. They do... I mean, all your wisdom goes to one person behind closed doors for no one else to experience, right? So if we're both in this era of scaling our work, maybe the one-on-ones, I have more one-on-one clients than I've ever had that I'm at capacity.
Yeah.
I couldn't really take much more. And I wonder how I scale and keep this level. It'd be very interesting to go in and find out for me. But I feel like yours is your online world, the in front of audiences, retreats, and book.
Yep. Gorgeous.
Yay.
Okay.
Awesome. Shall we go in and see, what was the question? What do I do to bring my next chapter?
Yeah, what was the question? It was
heaven on earth.
Heaven
How
on
do we
earth,
bring heaven and earth together, full expression? And we don't talk about money explicitly, but when we get aligned with the things we're meant to do and we're bringing our next full level of their fullest expression in the ways that we get guided, it does bring the next level of money too. I mean, my income has just been going on an upward climb continually for years with each next step. And each step always has me like go to zero almost. And it seems like it's not going to leap to the next level. And then it leaps to the next level and it keeps doing that. So I feel like I'm at the brink of that next one and I don't know exactly what that looks like.
Yeah. Interestingly, I saw, and we can put a pin in it and talk about it after, but I think it's really worth talking about. I saw an author that I respect and admire her work a lot, and she talks a lot about patriarchy and really interesting topics. And I watched this video of her talking about a belief that she knows she needs to work with, that money is not spiritual.
Oh, right. I mean, we could talk for hours. Why have we not talked about this kind of thing way more?
Well, we are really right now.
Right now.
In that as we are in the full expression of our gifts, that money is a reflection and it's a part of the abundance, right? A heaven and earth.
Yes,
big time. We need money. It's the currency of the 3D world we live in.
And well, okay, so I'll take it even further than that. I said to Erica, my CEO, when we were talking about things one day, she said, okay, so she's from Los Angeles and I'm not. So she said, I live in the hood. And I said, I have no idea what that means. And she's like, it's this part of town. And I said, well, what would people from LA, like what would people from your neighborhood say about my part of town? And she's like, you're where the rich people live. And I'm like, I am? And she's like, well, do you think of yourself as rich? And I said, always, but I've never made a lot of money. Like, it's not because I've always made a lot of money. There was times when I was making 6 figures and then I was guided to make 5 figures and then I was guided back to 6 figures and I was guided back to multi-6 figures. Like, I've decoupled the amount of money in my bank account to what success is. What success is making the money I need to do what just this chapter requires of me. And it's had me have to decouple what that means, because I went from in my 20s making six figures before anyone else was, and having probably like kind of the most money of the people around me early, after being on welfare in high school and having the least amount of money of anyone around me, and then being guided to give that up to lead a movement for 4 years where no one paid me and I couldn't make more than a student salary. But because of that, I led an entire movement and engaged hundreds of thousands of people without money. And I learned all that can happen without money, based on value-aligned mission, collaboration, spirit-led movement, and then get guided to LA, where I'm guided to make more money than I have ever made, maybe 5 years worth of money in 5 months, and yet somehow do it. But it's not because LA is better because there's more money in my account versus when I was running the movement, when there was no money in my account. That chapter needed that, and this chapter needed this. And she was like, that's fascinating. And I said, but what I'll say is I always felt rich. Even when I wasn't making money for the movement, I had no money to spend. It just money wasn't part of my world. I felt rich. I've always felt like I have a beautiful home and beautiful clothes, and I can have a nice meal when I want to, but I probably had like $20,000, $30,000 in my bank over the year. And because of that, like, I didn't travel, but I wasn't meant to travel. And I didn't go shopping, but I was meant to spend my weekends in nature. And I just couldn't do certain things, but that made me then be circulating with people in a very different way without money being part of any of the world I was part of. And so I was like kind of explaining my paradigm of that. And then I said, but now that I've been guided to LA and to be in the American economy, where I actually do need to make I need to make 5 figures a month, and like more than that a month, to make this place work, and I'm doing it. I was like, what I feel is that I got to feel what it feels like to be held by God without money. And now if I'm being guided to be in a place where I need to make that kind of money, then money feels like God to me. Like, I was going to speak at Harvard and be a keynote there, and I didn't have anything to wear. And the governor and his wife took me shopping and bought me 2 business suits. The universe provided. And the universe always provided what I needed. And now that requires actually a lot of actual cash. But it's just another form of the universe providing, and the universe is God. So like, if I'm supposed to be here, then God puts his arms around me by making sure there's money in my bank account. And that's not the only way God does, but that's how it is now.
Right. I was going to kind of ask too, like, I think that there's a safety in money thing, right? Because scarcity comes up no matter what your bank account looks like. And so the idea, and there's a lot I see it in artists and in the spiritual world of like, this money is not spiritual, or money is not artistic. I saw it, when I was a young actor, it was like, to be artistic, we need to be struggling. And I was like, I think I reject that.
You did reject that. You did reject that. And I actually had that. I remember, I'm going to say at least 15 years ago, you took me to a workshop and they said, rich people are ... And we had to write an answer. And it was like, I put down disconnected, selfish, whatever, and you put generous, empowered. And I was like, oh. So I had that. I had some of that for sure.
Yeah. But I think this idea of, and I've heard you talk about like traveling, being even what you were saying about knowing the world is your home and you're held, not knowing kind of what the next place is or where the next client is. There's a level of trust there that most of us have not built a practice around.
And I've always said, I've never been comfortable enough to be away from my creator. Like, I have had to be, like, the miracles hold me, not the money in my account. The trust that I would say for 20 years, if I were to take my bank accounts and lay them out and show where they are throughout the month, every single month, when I described it to Erica, my COO, I was like, this is what my monthly money flow is like. And it's been like this for 20 years. And she's like, I couldn't do that. And I don't know anyone that can do that. And I was like, and yet everyone would look at my life and say it's the most beautiful, abundant, charmed life. And it comes from knowing that my security doesn't come from the number in my bank account. My security comes from knowing the source is not going to let me fall, and never, ever has. It can look like it did, because I was guided to give up a 6-figure job and then didn't make money for a long time and had to live very, very little, only to find out that my needs were met in all sorts of ways that didn't take money, which I couldn't have understood if I didn't do it experientially. And it's one of the reasons I didn't have a family and children too, because I couldn't take anyone else on that ride. It was like a scientific experiment of rigorously trusting the universe was going to catch me in a way that most people couldn't handle. And most people that watched me, they were like, I don't know how you're doing this. And yet I was. And yet I was thriving and hugely successful. And I had huge bouts of making way less money than everyone around me, and then way more money than everyone around me. And they would be like, oh, that's bad and that's good. And I was like, no, that's good. And that's a different form of good. And now this is a different form of good. But I would say the time in LA has been the hardest because it's the only time I've been asked to make 5 figures a month. After making 5 figures a year, traveling the world and everything, I would land in certain countries and there'd be zero in my bank account. And all day people would just offer me lunch, offer me a place to stay. And then all of a sudden a client would show up, or then the next day 2 and 3, and then I'd have a few $1,000s in the bank account and I'd be living somewhere on $10 a day and it didn't matter. Like I was just like watching all this happen for years of being provided for. And I read beautiful stories of like this one book, The Hawaiian Elders Speak. And there's a lot of stories of Hawaiians being guided to leave all material things and wander the island, knowing the island will take care of them. And then I'll read other indigenous stories of very similar things where you go out into the wood, nature with nothing, and so that you experientially know you're going to be taken care of. Somehow you're protected. Somehow the wolves don't get you. Somehow I've been living that way for 20 years since I quit IBM as an engineer because it was exploitive. There's this saying like you can't serve 2 masters. Like is the financial system consistently having this amount of money in my bank account the safety, or is knowing I'm safe the safety?
The latter, I guess.
For me it is.
Yeah.
For me it is. And every time I'm like, oh, I should just do this. Like I should just do this thing because it'll give me money. I never, ever, ever do it. And even in those years that I was making very little, people would come up to me and say, while you're doing this movement, let me just pay you 6 figures just to do sales because you're so good at it and whatever. And I'm like, then I'm just going and doing the thing I was doing before. I didn't sacrifice and leave my country and not have a family to do the same thing for the same reasons. Like I'm going to believe this path is going to provide for me. And the only thing that was ever hard about it is my interpretation that it wasn't providing for me. But when I look back, it always was. It just looked very different than I thought providing for me looked like. And it's hilarious because I'd get so comfortable with years of not having money that when it was time to make money, I didn't want to. And then I'd get so comfortable with making so much money that when I was would get guided to not make money, I wouldn't want to. Like it's really possible that I was making $500,000 a year with my consulting firm in Hawaii, right? And I just didn't even know what to do with it. There was so much good money. And then I was guided to leave that and start all over again with nothing. And then I was making $20,000 a year again. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I like this. And then I fell in love with it. Then I fell in love with living in Portugal on $10 a day and whatever, and not thinking about shopping and not thinking about, it was luxurious to not have money. I loved being in Guatemala, not thinking about it, having $1,000 in my bank and know I'm good for 3 months and I don't need to think about shopping. And I just go to the water every day and paddle and then it was like, no, go to LA and start making lots of money. I'm like, no. So they both have their beauty and they both have their stresses, but they all come from the story overlay of them, if that makes any sense. So having said all this, I'm in a place where I'm making probably the most money I've ever made. And when I was making that $500,000, I had a lot of staff. So a lot of it was going out too. So I wasn't profiting that, right? But I'm profiting more than I've ever profited before. And yet I'm being guided to scale, but I need to make more money to scale. But I'm at my limit of how many clients I can actually take on.
Well, and scaling isn't about taking more clients.
Well, that's the thing. So that's why I think it'd be amazing for us to go in and go, what is my next step in merging heaven and earth? And that's why I think I see my roots going down is I'm being guided to take everything I learned, living 20 years mostly outside of the money system and knowing that I'm going to be well taken care of by community, by perfectly timed opportunities, by having the amount of money I need, which is a lot less than I thought. how do I take all of that trust and knowing and turn it into actually making a lot of money in the American system with it? You know what I mean? Like, how do I keep all of that trust intact? And I never worry about alignment, about like going against myself or starting to do something that's not value or mission aligned. It's just not possible for me to do that. But how do I take that and actually make it a proof of concept of what's possible with actual dollars as part of the success measures? Because that is a part of modern success. And if I'm going to be in this society, there has to be considerable money or I can't do it. But yet I'm guided to be here. So there must be a way. And it can't be, it has to be a different way than I've been doing it. So shall we find out?
Yep.
Okay. Wow. What'd you see?
I saw you like up in the canyons or like on a hill. And I saw this eagle kind of over, and I saw like you have like kind of looking out over everything. I saw you just like, and it's interesting. I remember, I think there was some guidance at one point of like me at the beach and you up in the hill. And I saw us going back and forth.
Yeah.
I saw you on stages and in rooms, kind of like the Heimat, but like there's an intimacy to it, sharing your wisdom and having people just like, I saw like the one-on-ones falling away similarly, like you're meant to, it's like what you just said, like you're sharing your wisdom with one person behind a closed door and that's not going to work anymore. And I saw us like, I opened my eyes and you were still in there and I was like, okay, is there anything?
I did that a couple times too.
Is there anything else?
That's what I did too.
And I was like, I saw us getting on this like rickety little boat and we're like, okay, it's going to work.
Is that our company?
And we're like paddling and then the boat just like grew and grew and grew and it turned into this beautiful yacht and we got to this beautiful land.
Wow.
Like the ocean opened all the way up and we're like, because we can't be in the ocean in this tiny little boat. Like, where are we going?
Yeah.
Anyway, we ended up in this gorgeous, probably in the Mediterranean.
So our first little bottle of body oil is like not the end game.
Yeah, like it was more just like the message was like, as we've seen, like you're both going to like have these incredible presences and a rising tide lifts all boats.
Right.
And both of us, the stronger, it's the message I've always gotten, the stronger each of our signatures are in our own work, the stronger Sophia is.
Amazing.
But we can't forget, like we're on the boat. We're building it, right? It's
like what it is now is not where it's going to be.
Right.
And just keep going.
Right.
Right.
And it's like part of, it won't always feel like we're...
we're like our first few episodes of a podcast. We don't have any products out yet. We're just finishing our website. Like, yeah.
We're paddling. We're like, okay, we hope we go. Here we go.
Yeah,
right.
We're spending money. None's coming in.
Right. We trust and we're just like, we're doing, and it's all a part of it. Anyway,
sure.
This
I love this.
Opened up into a beautiful...
That's great.
So that's all I got.
Great. Okay, great. So bottom line for me is you saw me like clients slipping away and me being more in rooms.
There was like it wasn't like a big stage with thousands of people, but it was like an intimate, it was like groups of people gathering around for the wisdom.
So the last two conferences I've gone into in New York and San Diego have been about 50 people, but they're all in their 50s, 60s, 70s that are the top of their game. Like I met the president and founder of UGG Boots who built his company, Aine Intuition, is 77 now.
Resonance.
Right. Like everyone is like it's smaller groups, but they're very seasoned, very experienced, and they've been using intellect and intuition. Like they're my people and I'm finding them around. So that's definitely feels right. Okay. So I saw like, imagine like a dam kind of appear and I'm behind the dam and there's some sort of like dollar bills in the coffer and I'm like letting one go over the dam and another one go over the dam. And in the San Diego event, I met that man who is a strategist and an agent for people exactly like me and works with the best in the country, the most recognized, I don't know, authors, leaders, thought leaders. And he came up to me afterwards and said, I think I came to this conference to meet you. Like, I don't know how you haven't blown up, but the way you I was on stage, I was on a panel, and he saw me in a bunch of group breakouts. He's like, I've never quite seen anything. Like, I don't know why you're not known by the country or the world. And I was like, I feel like I'm supposed to be. That's why I'm here. But I'm not from America. I don't really have those connections. And he said, well, that's what I bring people to those people. Like, I can introduce you. I can get you on a podcast circuit. I can get you on stages. I've seen you. Like, I can bring you to that. And he has a model for that. And it's like more money than I have. And it's more money than I've ever spent on one thing ever. Right. So I saw me kind of trying to put one bill down and him kind of catching it and trying to do something with it, another bill down and him trying to catch it. And I just kept seeing him catching these little smidgens of drops I'm putting out and trying to do something with it, but nothing really happening. And I was like, okay, so what do I need to know? And I saw lifting the dam and all of this money flowing down and him taking all of it and then more money coming in and more money coming in. And I was like, I just got the clear message. I need to find a way to invest in him, investing in me so that it comes back 1,000-fold and takes me to the next level. And I saw that I need like $50,000.
Which ironically is exactly what you tell your clients when they invest in you. I said this to you at the pool the other day.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know that you see it for yourself because you've never invested in something like this.
And with that amount of money, right.
And it truly is an investment in you.
Sure.
But it's quite literally the verbiage you use when you're saying like why someone should invest in working with you, because they are investing in the up level that would it's an acceleration.
Okay. So you remember when we were contemplating, or I got guided to start working on the pitch deck for this idea of bringing before we were going to do it together, I got guided to create a pitch deck around the notion of bringing the products that I had biohacked with the angels to market. And I said, that's going to, for me to put the financials together and the whole thing is going to take a couple months. And I don't remember how long, but I said, gosh, I just wish I could get $25,000 and then I could just stop everything and work on it.
Yep.
And literally the next day I had $25,000 from an old client that had money in an account for me in Bitcoin and plus a new client that came in. And putting those two amounts together was $25,000. I'm getting right now, I need $50,000. Like for me to invest in this man who can take me to the small rooms of the resonant people that know where I'm supposed to be, I need to manifest $50,000.
Great.
Okay.
So it is.
And so it is. So that's what I saw.
Great.
Wow. I did not know that before this. I was pretty much like, I'm not going to do that. There's no way. That's just way too much money.
That's interesting.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's just, I don't have that kind of money right now. Right now.
Suspicious of that story.
Say more.
Just suspicious of, you just talked about the universe provides exactly what you need.
Yes.
And if it's the chapter you're in.
Right. When people are like, but I needed $5,000 to do that thing and it didn't come, people automatically go, I blocked it. It wasn't for me. I didn't believe and I doubted. And I also say, but maybe you weren't supposed to do that thing and the universe is not going to provide $5,000 for the thing that you're not supposed to do. Right. So my biggest thing, knowing that there's only two things that stop it, you or it's not supposed to happen. Right. So I always go, I'm going to take away the me part so that if it doesn't happen, I know it's not supposed to happen.
Right.
And that's why I was like, I know I need $25,000 to do this company structure properly to get it to an investment ready pitch. So I knew I needed that. So I was like, I'm getting out of the way. I'm 100% surrendering into trust and belief on this. Show me that now if I do that and it doesn't come, I'll know this isn't the right thing. And then it came right away. So I think I just am doing the same thing. Like, I'm going to believe that if I am meant to work with this man, I factually need that much money. So there's no working with him where I don't have that amount of money.
Which is similar the other day at the pool. I said, how many clients do you need to make it a yes?
I said about that amount of money. I said, I said that.
Right. So that's sort of the what would make it a yes?
Right.
If you can look at it and be like, well, I don't have the money to write the check today.
Right.
But if I had all the money in my account, would I say yes?
And I didn't know the answer.
Right.
And I didn't know the answer until I saw it right now. Because I'm not convinced it couldn't happen without him.
Right. This was another question. You're like, yeah, you were kind of like, things are just there was a world in which in Hawaii, things just were provided.
The world of Hawaii was, you can make unbelievable things happen without money. Like more happen. like if you try to use money for it, it's not going to work. If you let go of money and flow, what could happen? Like money couldn't buy the connections and the creations that happened.
Right.
They organically happened.
But you were like bewildered, right? By this new, like there's a new version of the world you're in and you're experiencing.
So I'm in Los Angeles where all these people are. Why isn't the flow just bringing me to who I'm supposed to meet so it just happens? Why isn't that happening? Why is there a middle person that I have to pay all this money to make something that happens that should happen in nature, that nature should be providing?
Right. Do you have more clarity on that now?
I mean, up until I saw this vision, I was pretty sold on that idea that things should naturally happen. Hawaii taught me that. Flowing around the globe taught me that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people strategize for 6 months to get the kind of FaceTime and collaborations that happened because I just happened to be walking down the street at the same time as the right person and we were smelling the same flower. That's what happened in Hawaii and 25 countries, which resulted in knowing, like I could say so many names of people that the whole world knows. Like so
then is it just that you haven't met those right people yet? Or it's a different way of operating here?
That's the question.
Right.
Shall we just go in and both find out what the answer is?
Sure.
Let's find out. Let's try and both one and find out. Okay. How'd you do it?
What do you mean?
How did you go in? What did you ask? What did you explore?
I said, show me like what's possible. Is it the flow is different here? Or has she just not met the right person? And all I saw was him reaching out a hand. And
who's him, this man that this agent, let's call him the agent. Yeah.
I saw the agent like reaching out his hand and being like, I am the person you're supposed to meet. And you're just hesitating as to whether you're supposed to take it. But this is the currency in which this works.
That's what I got. Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Like, it's actually, the universe is actually still flowing and showing you what you need. But you're like, but wait a minute. Why do I have to pay? Why do I have to pay for it?
Right.
It's always been free.
Right.
But just like you need a different amount of money to live here. It's like we live in a different place. This isn't Hawaii. So you have like you could be, if we took you into like your work, you could be working with clients at a different level, but like the level that you work with them here is constructed by where you live and what you need.
Right.
If that makes sense.
No, it really, really
and so
does.
That's the same thing. He's like, this is me. Like I'm in this world too. But I just saw him reaching out his hand and you being like, should I take it?
Right. Okay. So I asked, show me working with this man and show me not working with this man.
Okay.
What's the worlds at the highest level possible? Like what, I mean, really, if I properly gave myself to the process where he is part of it and I properly gave myself to the process where he's not needed and the flow takes care of me, right? And I saw with him, all of a sudden, boom, 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 all over America. And white lights, and then all of America glows and the whole world feels the glow. And I was like, whoa. It was just so fast and so bright and so epic. And it's these very strategic, high-level places where, where I can have these conversations. And then I saw without him meeting some celebrities, meeting some people, rubbing elbows or having nice connections, but it's all very friendly and it stays in LA and it's very small and it doesn't change anything. It's very friendly. And there's really not a lot of money flow at all.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
I wonder which door she's going to pick.
Right? I mean, this is 180 to the way I was looking at it. Absolutely. It's like, I had a decade of training of like, don't think money's going to. So you don't need, the universe brings it without money. It's much better. That was literally my experience. And now it's like the flip opposite. But you know what it reminds me of? Have you ever heard this thing of like, there's a flood and I'm on the roof and I'm like, God save me, God save me. And then a helicopter comes and I'm like, no, helicopter, go away. God's going to save me. And then it's like, the little boat comes like, no, go away. God's going to save me. And then he dies. And he's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I tried to send you a helicopter. I send you a boat. It's that, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we're done here.
Yeah.
I'm just going to manifest $50,000.
No problem.
And this is going to happen. Yeah. And to your point, usually when I do a discovery call with someone and I channel their angels and they hear the 5 to 12 things that are going to change for them because they work with me and the angels, they sign up for, and it's 5 figures to work with me, right? the last 4 times I've done this, almost everyone does this once we do it. The last 4 people have been like, I don't know if I can do this on my own. Like, do I need this process and this amount of money to do it? So they're saying to me what I'm saying to him. And interestingly, if they had all said yes, I'd have $50,000. Right?
Right.
So it's like what I'm doing
It's being mirrored back in the field.
from my clients.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I was like, yeah, absolutely, then absolutely they're going to come as well. So here's a question for you.
Okay.
At the same time as I met him, I met someone that's doing a documentary that's also a pay to play for a few, like $35,000 to be in a documentary that would also bring me to the world in another way. And you instantly had a no around it. So 2 things present. Both of them are big tick, like cost me a lot of money. Both of them say, I can bring you your work to the next level, the scaling, which I'm being guided to do. You instantly go, that's probably good. And you instantly go, no, that one isn't. Why?
I'd love to say, I mean, just initially, even when you started talking, I was like, yeah, that's still a no.
You just feel it.
Yeah. I just feel it's
and
a
you
no.
feel a yes for him?
I feel a yes for, I mean, obviously like with both of these yes and no's, there'd be some like, give me some more information. And I had a lot of questions about him, right? Like, well, what is he saying he's going to do? What's his, what promises is he making, right? What is it just introductions? Is it that
strategy too?
Right, there's strategy.
But then I have to pay for the implementation of the strategy,
Fair.
Right.
But similarly, I'm in a mastermind where I'm doing that with branding and
you're going to have to pay for
and stepping
implementing
into
it.
my light. And there's a lot to be said about being around people who've done it and taken others along and can say, here's the fastest road.
Right. Yeah.
From A to B, right?
I mean, he gave me 20 referrals. And when I read that list to you and to other people, they knew half the people on the list and were pretty impressed. And yeah.
Whereas I think a documentary, there's a lot more variables.
Okay.
Where is it going to show? Who's going to see it? What are they going to do with that? How are they going to be in contact with you?
She doesn't have 20 documentaries to show me with a proven track record of what those people got from their time with her.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Fair. The intellect and intuition. Yeah. And I actually, when I tuned into, I got a no, and I still get a no on doing the documentary. So yeah, interesting. Okay. Well,
I think at some point someone's going to be like, can we please have you in our documentary?
Right.
I don't think there's any need for you to pay to be in a documentary.
Right. Yeah.
Great.
And then interestingly, the next day, the top documentary maker in Canada, who I connected with about a decade ago, who I met socially, but then put me in front of camera because he felt I was supposed to be there and felt we were supposed to do something, we reconnected. So maybe there's an organic documentary that still works that way somewhere.
Right.
Like that's a realm where it still works.
Right.
God, this is tricky stuff.
Well, not really. I mean, we've talked about, there was a whole TV show at some point.
Yes.
There's like, right?
We have a sizzle for an incredible TV show just waiting to happen when the time is right.
We do.
Right.
Yeah.
But maybe there'll be just 2 people on that TV show rather than
Probably.
Okay, I feel pretty confident.
Anyone want to turn this into a TV show?
Yeah, just call,
let us
we're
know.
just very accessible.
Call our agent. Or mine.
Go to your retreat first, make sure that it's
Do some goddess ascension.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, I feel very confident. And the next chapter, you?
I do, yeah. Thanks for being on the journey with us. We'd love to have you as part of the ongoing conversation. Join us on our socials at Sophia Beauty and join our email community at sophiabeauty.com. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode.